Okay, so I found out that the father of my oldest daughter died yesterday, and it really affected me. I was crying. I haven't seen him in like 15 years, maybe 12 years ish. We didn't get along. Um, my daughter hasn't talked to him in like 10 years either. Um, but I had a child with this man, and you know, I'm looking at pictures, I'm remembering good memories, and, you know, you always wish that, like, somehow that my daughter would have been reconciled to him um, before he died, you know? Like, I don't hate him. We didn't get along, but I didn't, like, want my daughter to not have a relationship with him or anything, you know? And there's a lot of reasons why she didn't have a relationship with him, but maybe I can't help but hope. I always kind of hope that they would still kind of work it out, though, you know. So many years just kept going by, and then it was like, now he's gone. There's no opportunity anymore. Um, and today, this is a trend, meaning that there's a lot of estrangement between children and parents, adult children and parents today. That was never the case ever in history, ever. Just this generation. And you see memes, you know, a lot of them will even put out memes. They're being fed this lie by society, by their college campuses, you know, left-wing woke crap. And the therapists that are left-wing are actually telling them, oh, you know, just cut them off, you know, toxic people or whatever, quote unquote. But, you know, families are hard, but it's worth it. It's worth it to press through, and you learn, you know, that's why marriages fail, because people just don't look at marriage as a lifetime commitment. They just think, well, I can get out of this. I can just get divorced and just marry someone else. They don't look at it as, no matter what, you know, for better or for worse, even if you meet someone else that you like better, even if you're fighting all the time, in sickness and health, even if they're in a coma, like, it doesn't matter if you make that vow, that commitment. And today people don't, it's just like dating, but we get to have a wedding and health insurance together. You know what I mean? It's not like an actual lifetime commitment. And because children don't even grow up in families where they have two parents that are committed like that, they also don't even think that they need to stick with their families. And, you know, being Italian, I thought that I instilled that in my children, you know. But I can't believe that children today, I mean, probably half of the parents out there in America and the world have one or more children that are estranged from them. It's an epidemic. It's actually an epidemic. I go in Facebook groups and I can't even fathom the amount of parents, because people usually will see that and be like, well, you know, a child doesn't cut off their parent unless there's a good reason. That's not true anymore. My oldest daughter isn't talking to me right now either, and it's over something tiny and stupid. And she didn't talk to her father for 10 years. And there was maybe bigger issues with that, but you know, if you think in your head it's ever okay not to be, you know, in contact with one of your parents, doesn't matter. You fight through. Yes, in abusive situations, you know, you might have to cut off, obviously, the relationship. So I'm not saying it, you know, there's extreme circumstances, yes, but that's not what's going on with these estrangements today. It's just stupid tiny fights. And the adult children believe they're feeling very entitled, but they believe they could be disrespectful to us, and that if we say anything, that means we're toxic and they can cut us off. Or if we give them advice as a parent, That's our job. Even if they're adults, we still guide them. And you know what? That's what friends do. That's what friends do too. Your friend's going through something, you kind of like, well, I think you should do this. If they say shut up, okay, fine, you shut up. Same with an adult child. I feel like I'm pushing them. It's not like I can force them. There's not even any judgment involved. That's my dog. I'm sorry. But friends. Shh. He does this when I'm on the phone. I'll stop soon. You got to stop. I'll show you my dog. Look, want to be in the picture? Say hi. Oh, he's so annoying. But, you stick with your family no matter what. It doesn't matter if they're crazy. It doesn't matter if you disagree. And you learn things through that, though. You learn to, come on, be in here if you want. You learn to push through, and there's, really amazing things that happen when you do that. When you push through, shh, come in. Come on. Here, I'll let you out. When you push through things, you really the bond is so much closer after, and that's how relationships grow. I just don't understand why therapists today aren't saying, what, this is your mom, this is your dad, you only get one of them. Sometimes you're lucky to have really great step parents and stuff, but in general, you're still really not as close with them as like your biological parents. I mean, sometimes you can have people that are like blood in your life. But if you don't treat your actual blood like blood, then how can you even treat people that aren't blood like blood? Because that would just, the people that are like blood, if you're treating them like blood that aren't blood, then you got to be blood to your blood. You know what I'm saying? And that means sticking through tough times together. And even if you're mad, and like my introductory video on this page, like, I'm going into, like, that's what Italians do. Like, you know what? That's, if we're fighting at a holiday, oh, well, that's the family. But by the time you, all make meatballs together, and you fight, and you might even beat each other up, and that's not an exaggeration. You know what? You sit down at the table, you all eat together, you have Christmas, and you go to church, and you know what? You all hug goodbye, and it's over. And you still love each other no matter what. You just get through it. And a lot of times in those moments, things come out that you didn't know was going to come out, but then there's healing. Then you get to have healing, and you get to understand other people, even if you don't agree with them. You just, well, you know what? I disagree, but they feel like this, and you just love them anyway. That's what family is. And I hope I'm making these videos honestly because I'm hoping that some people realize that and go call their mom and dad and stop being estranged. I'm sure moms especially, but both parents, like, you don't have to have even a big conversation or say sorry, or you don't have to solve everything in one day and in one conversation. But if you just call, you just make that call, even if you'd be like, you know what, I don't want to talk about anything, I just want to say hi. You know what? Your parents will just say hi, and they'll be happy that you just started the conversation, even if you don't get to talking through anything or solving anything for another couple months, but you can't let your family like die without being reconciled. You gotta be family to your family. It's a gift that we give each other, and it's an important gift that we give each other, because if you don't give it, you're not going to get it back. And everyone needs family, because friends will come and go, and friends will betray you. And family betrays you too, but they shouldn't. That's the point. But even if they do, you know what? You got to stick to them and show them the way that families are supposed to be. Even if they betray you, which sucks. And maybe there's a time where if there's actual abuse or something, but the Bible says forgive 70 times 7 times a day. It doesn't matter. And when you do that, though, then you get forgiveness. You get mercy back. And you have family around. You get through it. You guys learn. And the people that do betray you, after a while, they're going to be betrayed by people in their life. And they're going to realize, hey, my mom, my dad, my sister, my cousin, whatever, I did that to them, and they're still here, and they're going to learn. And that's what it's all about, growing as a family together. And we got to instill that in society again. Because even if we're telling our children that, society and school and therapists are saying something else, and they're leaving what we're saying. They're calling us medieval thinkers or something, and they're not listening. And I know that they're young, but you know what? 10 years can go by and you don't talk to your parent, and then they die. That's tragedy. You have to make sure that doesn't happen. That's why the Bible says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Before the end of the day, solve it. Even if you say, you know what, we got to talk more about this, but I love you. But we'll talk more tomorrow or next week, but I just want to, you can't let that anger be there. You got to let it go. Well, I'm not going to be angry with you. I'm going to let that go by the end of the day. And we may have some things we have to talk out, but the anger, let it go by the end of the day. All right, that's it. I got to go. I have a doctor's appointment, and I made a couple videos, and I'm really late. I got to go. All right, bye.